With hordes of residents returning from overseas. Shoppers across the country punished with limits on certain products as panic buying returns. The family of murdered grandmother Phyllis Harrison comes face to face with her alleged killer. The state government vies for a piece of the World Cup action, hoping to host matches here. And Port coach Ken Hinkley says his team's ready to shake off the label of being unreliable.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Rosanna Mangiarelli.
Good afternoon. South Australians are being warned to expect up to 25 new coronavirus cases as more citizens return home from overseas. Tim Hatfield's at the airport, and Tim, 2 flights are set to touch down this weekend.
Yeah, they are, Rosanna. A flight bringing Australians home from Mumbai is set to touch down here early tomorrow morning, while an Air Force plane will bring home Australian Defence Force personnel. It'll land at Edinburgh this weekend. The government says given where these flights are coming from, especially that one from India, there is every possibility some of these arrivals may already have COVID-19.
And I just wanted to make it clear to South Australians that we should expect to see a number of new cases in South Australia in the next week or so. We have more than 300 returning Australians arriving in Adelaide this weekend.
The likelihood of some of these people actually testing positive must be recognised, and that shouldn't be a reflection on the performance of South Australia in terms of how we're managing COVID-19.
Now, of course, SA Health says anybody who develops any symptoms mid-flight may be taken straight to hospital. The rest will be put into hotel isolation for 2 weeks and will be tested. Now, the Premier is determined to open all borders on July the 20th, even the borders to Victoria. However, he says if authorities there can't contain those outbreaks, that may have to be revisited. Rosanna?
Thank you, Tim. Supermarket giants Coles and Woolworths are slapping purchase limits back on certain grocery items in response to a return of panic buying. This was the toilet paper aisle at Burnside Coles today. Shoppers across the country will be restricted to just 1 packet of both toilet paper and paper towel at Coles stores, while Woolworths is reintroducing a 2-pack limit on the same items. Wider restrictions are being applied to Victorian stores, with limits on items such as hand sanitizer, flour, sugar, pasta, even long-life milk. The state government's pushing to host 2023 World Cup soccer matches after Australia and New Zealand won the coveted rights. $3.3 million will be spent upgrading Highmarsh Stadium to get it up to scratch. Mike Smithson has the latest.
Australia.
There was no mistaking our top stars' jubilation as the winner was announced by FIFA in Zurich overnight. It almost compensates for the Matildas' shock departure from last year's event in France. They failed to reach the quarter-finals. Our golden girl, Sam Kerr, said it's simply enough.
We did it! Come on!
We knocked out our only other rival, Colombia, by 9 votes. It's predicted 1.5 million tickets will be sold, meaning a sporting and tourist bonanza not seen since the Sydney Olympics.
For the first time, FIFA goes in this part of the world to host a major competition.
This is a historical day for Australian football. I hope everyone remembers it.
32 teams will compete for the first time. Adelaide will be a focal point, with taxpayers to spend $3.3 million upgrading Highmarsh Stadium.
For Adelaide to be a part of the 2023 FIFA World Cup, Women's World Cup, is an honour, and it's an exciting journey that we'll all take over the next 3 years.
But it only came about after a major U-turn. Less than a year ago, the Premier wasn't supporting the bid. He claimed the upgrade to host 22,000 fans would cost too much, with no guarantee of Matilda games or finals. But a Sam Kerr-style backflip and South Australia was back on board.
We got a much better deal for South Australia. We made commitments as part of that, and we'll announce our response to that in the coming weeks.
It will also provide a much-needed boost for tourism after the current deep trough. It will also be a shot in the arm for girls and women to get engaged with the World Game. These teenagers were shattered when we weren't a bidder. A year on, they're almost as ecstatic as the Matildas themselves.
I'm over the moon, very excited. I'm feeling ecstatic. This is just great news for all of us.
Mike Smithson, 7 News.
A New South Wales MP is being suspended from the Labor Party under investigation over alleged links to Chinese espionage. Police raided the home of the Upper House member in Sydney earlier today in one of the most significant inquiries in recent ASIO history. Olivia Leeming has more.
The Prime Minister says today's events show Australia will not tolerate foreign interference in a veiled warning to Beijing. After Australian Federal Police officers searched Mr Mosselmane's home for evidence, joined by a forensic team combing 3 vehicles parked outside, as part of this joint investigation between the AFP and ASIO into suspected interference by the Chinese government in our political system. The Upper House MP refusing to comment as he left. Detectives also attending his office at the New South Wales Parliament. No charges have yet been laid. The Prime Minister says the allegations are being taken seriously.
We won't cop anyone coming and seeking to interfere in our political system, in our energy sector, in any area of perceived area of opportunity for an outside actor.
In a statement, ASIO has emphasised the raids do not relate to any specific threat to the community. Mr Mosselmane's been a controversial supporter of China, forced to stand down as Assistant President of the New South Wales Legislative Council over his pro-China stance, taking 9 trips to the country since 2009, with the Chinese government covering some of his costs. On one trip criticising Australia's tough foreign interference laws. He's also called for a new world order and repeatedly praised President Xi Jinping's handling of coronavirus. Here he is in February.
Can I just say that the Chinese government should be commended for the immediate action that it took, because it was contained so much in China. That meant that the rest of the world had not been affected as it would have if those measures were not taken.
Earlier this year, the head of ASIO, Mike Burgess, warned the agency was prepared to name and shame foreign actors if they were exposed as interfering in our political system. The investigation may take some weeks to complete, creating further headaches for Labor, already under pressure over the Victorian branch stacking scandal. Though no word today from the federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese, his office maintains this is a state issue.
A devastated Adelaide family has seen the man charged with killing their mother 22 years after she died in a horrifying stabbing attack. As Deanna Williams reports, he fronted court this afternoon, but the case is shrouded in secrecy.
It's been 22 long years, but Phyllis Harrison's children and extended families never gave up hope. Today, they emerged from court after seeing the man police say is responsible for her murder.
Today was a step further for justice, for the family and for our mum, our darling mum. She was a beautiful lady. We miss her terribly.
The accused, a 45-year-old prisoner, is charged with stabbing Mrs Harrison inside her Elizabeth South home in 1998. Secrecy orders prevent us from naming and showing him or saying anything that might reveal who he is or why he was already in custody. And strict COVID-19 restrictions in court meant he didn't walk into the dock but appeared via video link from the City Watch House. The arrest came as a surprise.
We didn't expect what was going to be said, and we were in shock. Yeah, at first.
But good shock.
But good shock, yes, absolutely.
The major development in this baffling cold case was possible because of fresh evidence that came to light through crucial advances in DNA technology.
And it may only be that somebody's touched something and left some cells behind. We can now go back and we can resample those exhibits knowing that we can detect much smaller amounts of DNA.
Mrs Harrison's accused killer didn't say anything during his brief appearance. He'll front court again next month.
A convicted murderer on trial accused of raping a female prison guard has taken the stand in court. It's alleged the attack happened at the Mount Gambier prison in 2017, where the accused, James Hall, was serving his sentence. The 33-year-old pleaded not guilty and has told the court it was the guard who made advances, then told him not to tell anyone. We'll have more on his defence in our bulletin at 6 o'clock. Around 50 university students have gathered in the city to protest against the federal government's proposed changes to higher education.
Stop! Free! Stop! Free! We're going to make this policy political poison, and we're going to defeat them and run them into the ground like we did in 2014.
Under the government's plan, the cost of some degrees, including law and commerce, would double, while others like nursing, maths and science would be slashed. Critics say the state government's plan to axe hundreds of bus stops could come at a massive expense. The opposition claims it'll cost up to $10,000 to remove a single shelter and $1,000 to take down a sign.
The cost of removing bus shelters and bus stops is going to be into the millions of dollars. And Stephen Marshall wants to impose that cost on taxpayers.
The Transport Minister, Stephen Knoll, claims the cuts will improve services. Families who've had their lives torn apart in the devastating summer bushfires have been thrown a lifeline. They've been offered free temporary accommodation, allowing them to live on their own land while they rebuild. Rosie Barnett explains.
It's been 6 months since fire tore through this Harrogate property, leaving the Seabomb family with nothing.
Not having a roof, a family home for them over Christmas is just devastating.
Since then, the family of 5 has been living in a single caravan with no running water. But now a lifeline, a fully furnished housing pod delivered straight to their property.
It's just amazing. It's just everything. We now have some space for the kids to play when it's raining, and kind of shower, a proper shower.
The bushfire recovery pods, complete with 2 bunk beds and a washing machine, have been provided to South Australian families most in need. 8 will stay in the hills, while 40 have been ferried to Kangaroo Island.
People have told me many things about how it's changed their life. It's given them the purpose the next day to get up and face the day, and so it's been fantastic.
The units are made locally at Monarto, but New South Wales communities will also benefit, with more than 70 already shipped across the border, and there are more to come.
Future looks good. It's given us a lot to look forward to.
The pods are being provided free of charge for at least 12 months.
Qantas Chief Executive Alan Joyce says he has had constructive dialogue with the Prime Minister as calls grow for JobKeeper to be extended to help the struggling aviation sector. 15,000 staff remain stood down, and yesterday it was revealed 6,000 positions will be made redundant. Mr Joyce says the tough decision provides certainty.
They'll get that money and they can go on and find jobs. That's a lot better than standing them down for years with no prospect of those jobs coming back. We have to be honest, and the union should be thanking us for doing the right thing by the people.
He says Qantas is in better shape than other major airlines and hasn't cut as many jobs. Meanwhile, Virgin Airlines has a new owner. An American private equity group has become the operator after a rival with links to Richard Branson dropped out. Christy Marr explains.
Well, earlier today it looked like negotiations for Virgin's future had stalled, with Cyrus Capital announcing it was withdrawing its bid. But just hours later, Bain Capital announced it has bought Virgin Australia.
The administrators of the company announcing that they have entered into a sale and implementation deed with Bain Capital.
The deal comes after months of uncertainty following Virgin's entry into voluntary administration back in April. Under the agreement of sale, Bain has promised to keep as many Virgin jobs as possible and honour staff entitlements. It will also honour customers' travel credits and keep the Velocity Rewards program. This afternoon, Virgin welcomed the news in a statement saying this is a great day for Virgin Australia and a huge milestone. We know they are committed to investing in the airline, and we are thrilled to be working with them into the future. One big question which hasn't been answered, though, is how many Virgin jobs will be lost in the restructure. We know the airline will be streamlined, and it's a difficult time for the whole aviation industry, with so many flights grounded because of coronavirus. Just yesterday, Qantas axed 6,000 jobs.
The federal government needs to bring forward its review of the JobKeeper system and make it clear that is going to put in place an appropriate package in aviation.
In the meantime, we understand more details on exactly what the new Virgin Australia will look like will be announced next week.
And ahead on 7 News, a body discovered in a Melbourne car park as Victorian police continue to search for a missing South Australian bikie associate. Claims the number of COVID-19 cases in the US is 10 times higher than what's being reported. The airline at the centre of a deadly crash grounds 150 pilots as their credentials are called into question. A pilot lucky to escape serious injury after his aircraft bounces along a runway in California. Plus, why Sam Newman is threatening to cut ties with Geelong.
For the first time in its 350-year history, the hotel has agreed to open its doors to cameras.
The most exclusive tour.
It's like living in Downton Abbey.
See where the newest royals stayed before that big day.
Meghan Markle was here.
The extraordinary Clifton Hotel. Tonight on 7/2.
Make sure you're totally ready when it's time to present to your most important audience ever. Unlike ordinary toothpaste, Colgate Total's breakthrough formula actively fights bacteria on your teeth, tongue, cheeks and gums for 12 hours, keeping your whole mouth healthy. Colgate Total. Be totally ready for life.
It's laundry season at Harvey Norman. Wash smarter with the latest technology from all the leading brands. Save up to $700 on selected Miele laundry packages or up to $1,200 on selected AEG packages. We have dryers in stock from $349. Front-load washers with steam to sanitize and care for your delicate items from $698. King-size washers to save you time from $899. Plus 60 months interest-free is available. Limited time, now at Harvey Norman.
With an interest rate this low, your home loan will want to fix itself. Get a better fixed rate home loan from Police Credit Union. Call, visit a branch or apply online.
Anaconda's Super Stock Take sale is on now. All tents by June 4-wheel drive Austral and Spinifex, half price. All sleeping bags by June 4-wheel drive Denali and Spinifex, half price. Head in store or shop online at anacondastores.com. Anaconda!
For making sense of a changing world. For knowing where you stand on the big issues. For understanding what's next. For the edge you need. The Australian. For the informed Australian.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their own home. Especially those at a greater health risk during these times. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having Light and Easy meals delivered safely with our contactless delivery service, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call us on 13 15 12.
The Poshtacare Chair Company has been making chairs locally, employing South Australians for over 40 years. Our patented comfort technology is internationally recognized in aged care seating, allowing us to build a chair to address your exact needs and guarantees you comfort like no other. Every chair is uniquely tailor-made. And right now, get $400 trade-in on your old chair. Experience the bespoke difference. The Poshtacare Chair Company, the best seat in the house.
Julia, how was your vacation? Oh, you've had a,
Yes, I've had an epic reminder done for Aldi's special buys.
Turn your face into an epic reminder for this Saturday and get work boots for $34.99, a high-vis jacket for $39.99 and a wet-dry vacuum for $69.99. Only at Aldi. Good. Different.
Victorian police have ruled out that a body found in a car park in Melbourne overnight is that of missing South Australian bikie associate Kerry Jacoumis. As Tegan Dolling reports, a passerby made the grim discovery.
The homicide squad and forensics have been at this scene in Melbourne's southeast all day as they try to piece together who this man is and how his body got to this secluded car park. It's understood he was found just after 7 this morning by a father and his children who are being dropped off at the primary school next door. It's incredibly disturbing. He was found so close to this school. It was forced to turn away students and close for the school holidays a day early as detectives took over the street.
His hands got tied up, and that's as far as I know.
Very shocked because it's a very quiet area, and my children went to the primary school, and to see like that's awful, and especially for the person that found them.
Residents say the reserve, which backs onto the car park, is very secluded and dark at night, but busy during the day with people walking their dogs. The homicide squad is treating this man's death as suspicious, and they'll remain on scene for most of the day as they try to piece together exactly what's happened.
The United States COVID-19 situation could be much worse than initially reported. The Centre of Disease Control and Prevention says cases may be as high as 23 million, 10 times more than the official figures. The report comes as government inspectors discovered the US Treasury mistakenly sent more than $2 billion of its pandemic rescue funds to dead people. Since March, US Congress has pumped $3.8 trillion into its economy. And face masks have become a big issue in the United States after some authorities ordered the public to wear them. New data estimates masks have prevented almost 500,000 COVID-19 cases in the country and could save thousands of lives. Paul Caddack has more.
Across the United States, wearing a face mask is dividing. After Washington's governor ordered everyone to wear a mask, a local sheriff had different advice.
Don't be a sheep.
In Arizona, where cases are exploding, a city councillor mocked a mask order.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
He later apologised, insisting he wasn't trying to echo the words of George Floyd. The backlash comes despite data showing a mask can make a big difference.
If we don't have widespread mask use as we head into the fall and cases are going up, we're going to end up shutting down the economy to save lives.
So far, many states that have required masks have seen COVID cases drop, as states that only recommend masks have seen cases increase, while the president's top experts have urged the public to go along.
Make sure you wear a mask.
Donald Trump has only been seen wearing a mask once. Some argue ordering people to wear them goes too far.
I think coronavirus is real, but so is the flu, so is a lot of different viruses.
I'm wearing a mask to protect everyone, protect myself, protect our community.
If you're not wearing your mask, you're just thinking about yourself.
In the United States, Paul Caddack, 7 News.
A day after revealing pilot error played a role in a deadly crash in Pakistan, the airline involved has grounded dozens of its pilots. Alarmingly, 150 of them might not hold a valid licence. The country's aviation minister claims they could have cheated in exams to obtain fake credentials. Pilots at other Pakistani airlines are also being accused of having fake licences. An investigation was launched when one man claimed to have completed an exam on a public holiday. And a pilot's been rescued from the wreckage of his light plane after a crash landing in California. The aircraft bounced along the tarmac and became airborne once again before overshooting the runway. Firefighters pulled the man from the plane. He was treated for some aches and pains but wasn't seriously injured. Geelong great Sam Newman has offered to remove his name from the Cats records. It comes after the club raised concerns over Newman's comments on the Black Lives Matter movement. They've received numerous complaints from fans saying his commentary in a scathing podcast was racist after AFL players kneeled to pay tribute to black man George Floyd. And a racism storm has erupted online after an Instagram user posted an offensive emoji on a photo of a West Coast player's 3 children. Liam Ryan's partner Rosanna shared the comment to her own account with the caption, "Here we go again, attack my babies, but no, racism doesn't happen in Australia." It sparked this response from the West Coast Eagles.
Oh, there's a good picture.
It's just disappointing. I mean, all we can do is educate people, and there's not much you can do about it other than, if you see something, say something and educate as best you can.
And sadly, it's not the first time the family's been targeted. Now let's check in with Hazy on what's coming up in sport.
Thanks a lot, Rosanna. We'll have all the latest from the Gold Coast as the Crows and Port prepare for their round 4 clashes. Also ahead, we hear from SA's very own Jenna McCormick after Australia's successful 2023 World Cup bid. And Liverpool fans go into a frenzy as the Reds clinch their first Premier League title in 30 years. All that, plenty more on the way, Rosanna.
Thank you, Hazy. Also ahead on 7's Afternoon News, Ship of Shame, a senior executive at Carnival Australia grilled over a testing failure on board. Fears COVID-19 will rip through seaside towns in the UK as hot weather sends Brits flocking to the beach. And eager fans head back to a Gold Coast theme park as it reopens its doors.
While everybody else was aging, I was getting younger.
The Academy Award-winning masterpiece, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, tonight on 7 Mate.
Rarely seen, but always there for us, our Australian donors have continually provided vital support. Now, more than ever, we thank you for your mercy and compassion toward the forgotten poor in Africa. Mercy Ships.
Make your home beautiful with furniture from Harvey Norman. We have a huge range of quality choices and exclusive designs. Fabric and leather lounges, flexible family-friendly modulars, manual or powered recliners, sofas with the latest smart tech built in, dining suites to complement a classic or bold contemporary look, plus the very best of Australian-made lounge and dining furniture, customizable to suit your style. Shop smart, shop safe in our spacious stores and take advantage of 60 months interest-free. Available now at Harvey Norman, your furniture specialist.
It's tax time madness at JB with prices smashed. Like $100 on the ScoPro Hero 8 Black. Beats Wireless Power Beats 3 crunched to $159. And this is nuts. $200 on the EcoVax 950 robotic vacuum. Extended opening hours until June 30. JB, you've done it again.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging? And won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $55 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
A little bit of chili, a little bit of turmeric.
Classic hits to carry you through the night.
Dinner's up!
Oh, no. Hi, everybody! Sugar, best dinner yet.
For over 40 years, Canning Vale has invested in quality and design, making exclusive luxury homewares attainable. And now you can enjoy premium quality with free shipping and up to 70% off with Canning Vale's end of financial year sale. Make home a sanctuary of warmth and style with generous discounts on the distinctive Canning Vale range with 100-day home trial and free returns. Shop online now using code EOFY for fast free shipping. Up to 70% off for a limited time. CanningVale.com.
Beacon's Mega Stocktake sale is now on. Enjoy reduced prices on all our stock at all Beacon lighting stores across Australia or online. That's mega savings on all our stock during our Mega Stocktake sale.
Rarely seen, but always there for us, our Australian donors have continually provided vital support. Now more than ever, we thank you for your mercy and compassion towards the forgotten poor in Africa. Mercy Ships.
A senior executive at Carnival Australia has been grilled at the Ruby Princess inquiry over the testing failure on board. A grieving widow has also given evidence, speaking about her heartbreaking loss. Robert Ovadia reports.
Well, there have been quite a few fiery encounters right from the get-go since the Ruby Princess inquiry began, mostly from its irascible Commissioner Brett Walker SC. That certainly continued today in a line of questioning to a Carnival senior executive, a man by the name of Peter Little, who is in charge of guest experiences, a rather unfortunate title given we know what happened to so many of the guests once they disembarked the Ruby Princess on March 19. He kept on pursuing the same line of questioning as vigorously as counsel assisting Richard Beasley. His main inquiry is the swabs, why there were so few swabs on board the Ruby Princess.
It wasn't my, and is not my responsibility, that area of the business. Whose responsibility was it? It sits with the medical Services Department.
Peter Little offered a statement to begin his testimony today, offering his sympathies to everybody who has been so adversely affected by this tragedy, none more so than the person who was in the witness box before him. Jeanette Moore's husband, Bob, died from COVID-19 after disembarking the Ruby Princess on March 19. She said he had little more than a sniffle the day after, and that it was actually their local GP who insisted they get tested.
Our doctors got together and he rang straight back within 5 minutes and said,
get an ambulance. Yes, OK, you've said that in Paris.
Yep.
Mrs Moore also testified that she did not hear herself of any advertising from Carnival on board about free health checkups.
Thousands of Brits have crammed onto beaches as a summer heatwave sweeps across the UK. There are now fears of huge outbreaks linked to seaside towns. Hugh Whitfeld has more from London.
In theory, the lockdown still exists here in Britain. Pubs and cafes are still closed, but it didn't stop people heading down to the beach on the south coast of England, flooding beaches in places like Brighton and Bournemouth. It did appear that it was very difficult to practice social distancing as the heat reached 33 degrees here in the UK. In Bournemouth, they declared a major incident to bring in extra resources to try and disperse the crowds from the beach.
I think it's nice because we've been stuck in for so long. I just feel like it's something else to do. But there is a lot of people here.
Feels like Corona isn't really a thing now, but obviously it is.
I'm enjoying. Today is really nice weather, yeah?
It was a really hot day. I thought I'd take advantage of it.
Coronavirus is still very real here in the UK. 149 people have died from coronavirus just in the last 24 hours. And England's chief medical officer has warned that if people don't practice social distancing, then cases will rise. Here in London, it does appear that there is a huge amount of lockdown fatigue. Police were called to break up what they've described as an unlicensed music event. What it really was a street party that got completely out of hand. Revellers in Brixton turned on police when they tried to break up the party. 22 police officers were injured, 2 required hospital treatment, just 4 people were arrested. And police here in London are warning that they will have extra patrols out and about to monitor illegal events like that while the lockdown continues.
A bitter dispute over almost $500,000 in cash unearthed at a construction site will be decided in a courtroom. 2 tradies who made the discovery thought they did the right thing by handing it in, but now they're staking a claim. Cameron Price reports.
Yeah, it is a remarkable case, and today in the Supreme Court a ruling that the rightful owner of a hidden stash containing close to $500,000 will be decided by a judge. The money uncovered last year by 2 tradies during the demolition of a Gold Coast home. Inside a plastic container, old and weathered banknotes to the value of $488,000. The tradies did what under law is required and went to authorities with their find.
Police station was across the road and we took it straight over there and handed it in. The police stated that if the true owner couldn't be found, we've got a right to that money.
But they're not alone. Another 3 parties are claiming they are the rightful owner of the money, including the tradies' boss and the landowner. We will have all the details about their claims and what experts say you should do if you find abandoned money or goods at 6 p.m.
We certainly will. More at 6 p.m. But still to come on the afternoon news. Making a splash, fans flock to the Gold Coast as a popular theme park reopens. A sleepy backyard intruder startles residents in the US. And what a whopper, a fossil find uncovers a new giant species of wombat.
They all wish they felt 10 years younger.
Just need to get back to being the person that I was so proud to be once.
There's no going back.
Okay. In just 10 days, their lives will be transformed for good.
Oh my God.
The most heartwarming, life-changing show of the year.
Oh my.
10 years younger in 10 days. Monday after Big Brother on 7.
Shut up and take my money.
Nothing like a party in the summertime. Nothing like seeing you, baby, looking so fine.
sweetie.
Hi, Mum.
Mars. Enough chocolate to deal with anything.
Oh, it's very good.
It's tax time madness at JB with prices smashed. Like a crazy 20% off Microsoft Surface Pro 7, Pro X and Laptop 3. Grab a crazy $300 off this premium HP laptop. And 10% off Apple Mac computers. Extended opening hours until June 30. JB, you've done it again.
Harvey Norman. Everything for the heart of your home. With great deals across all the leading brands in cooking. Save up to $1,000 on Smeg Portofino packages and up to $700 on Smeg linear ovens. Save up to $800 on selected AEG kitchen appliances. Save up to $700 on selected Neff cooking appliances. Save up to $500 on selected Miele ovens and cooktops. Take advantage of 60 months interest-free. Updating, upgrading, or renovating. Create your dream kitchen now at Harvey Norman.
At HCF, Australia's largest not-for-profit health fund, we've always put our members first, knowing the importance of care when it counts, and it's never counted more than now. That's why we're giving eligible members access to a wider range of treatment options at no extra cost in the comfort and security of your own home. Vital health services such as chemo, complex wound care and intravenous antibiotics, so you can still receive quality care without having to visit a hospital, because uncertain times call for uncommon care.
A great way to improve your well-being is to take things one step at a time, like connecting with family and friends or getting active. Take the first step and discover all the support and resources you need at openyourworld.sa.gov.au.
$500,000 buried in a suburban backyard. The new twist on Who Owns It on 7 News at 6 o'clock.
Welcome back to 7's afternoon news. Now let's recap our top stories. South Australians are being warned to brace for a spike in coronavirus cases, with hordes of residents set to return from overseas. Shoppers have been punished with new purchase limits as panic buying returns following Victoria's COVID-19 spike. And the state government vies for a piece of the action, putting its hand up to host World Cup matches here in 2023. There are promising signs for tourism on the Gold Coast, with SeaWorld the first major theme park to reopen. Hundreds of happy customers arrived early and were welcomed back with an applause. Crystal Etherington was there.
It's an exciting day for staff and guests here at SeaWorld on the Gold Coast, with the gates officially open after 3 months of being closed. Around 2,000 employees made a grand entrance back into the park before the gates opened at 9:30am.
It's gotta be fun here because it's SeaWorld.
The Kay family were the first in.
We're always the first in line for everything.
We know how busy this place can get on the best of days.
Psyched, yes. Haven't been here since probably I was a teenager.
Inside, the experience is different. There'll be no queues on the attractions.
Not having to wait in lines forever like we used to.
Pretty excited.
Instead, guests used a phone app to book in a ride time.
Easy, because you've always got your phone on you.
At the shows, the crowd numbers were halved. The stadium marked to space families out. And over at Polar Bear Shores, Mishka put on quite the show to welcome everyone back.
So nice to see them playing.
SeaWorld will operate at 50% capacity, with a maximum of about 6,000 people until September.
We do expect, and we do probably need, about 30-40% capacity.
Other big theme parks, Wet n Wild and Movie World, are due to open on July 15.
And let's check finance now with Stephen Dagley in at CommSec. Good afternoon there, Steve. A much better day for Aussie shares. Was it enough, though, to push the market higher this week?
Good afternoon, Rosanna. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I mean, we were close. The market had a great day. It was one of the best days we've had in a couple of weeks. We're up 1.5%. The problem, though, is that yesterday was even worse. We had shares down 2.5%, so we couldn't make up for those losses, unfortunately. What seemed to help this afternoon were signs, though, that the US market seems set for a better start tonight, so that pushed us a little higher. The stocks that really made a difference today, the banks, other financial services companies like AMP, for example, investment manager IOOF and Magellan. Westpac was up, QBE rose, even Woolies and Coles did quite well, both applying restrictions on certain products because, of course, toilet paper is all the rage once again. So that was some of the better performers. The worst included Qantas, which was the biggest decliner. It fell 9%, and that's not a surprise, Rosanna, because it came out with a number of announcements in the past day, and investors had the first opportunity to digest all this news today. Was in a trading halt over the past day, raised a bit of money from investors, and it's also going to cut jobs as well, of course, in coming years. The Aussie dollar, 68.8 US cents.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Steve. Let's go to sport now. And Hazy Tex definitely in, and we might see another debutant as well.
Yep, his name is Shane McAdam. He's from Sturt originally, plucked from the sample a couple of years ago. Very exciting.
Yeah,
so I think Crow supporters are going to enjoy this one. More on that a little bit later. Also coming up, we'll hear from Port Adelaide's Ken Hinkley ahead of their clash with the Eagles tomorrow. And SA's Jenna McCormick opens up on her journey from the AFLW to an Aussie Soccer World Cup.
The Magpies have a score to settle.
GWS are through.
They hammered Collingwood when it counted most.
Against the rock stars of the comp.
We're going to get it on because we don't get along.
Then, in the game you thought wouldn't happen, the Bombers are back.
Oh, yes!
Will they soar high over Carlton, or will the Blues keep their winning form? 2 massive matches start tonight on 7.
Join AHM Hospital and Extras Direct and you'll get 6 weeks free. Plus, we'll waive any 2 and 6 month waits on extras.
Yay!
Whether you're a single, a couple, or a family. It's that simple. That doesn't look very simple. Offer ends June 30. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Getting your caravan ready for the next big trip? For a full range of caravan spares, parts and accessories, see Cara Rest Supplies and Repairs. Towing aids, air conditioners, stoves, portable toilets, awnings and annexes. Leading brands like Dometic, Coast to Coast, Air Command, Primus and more. Our experts can handle any type of installation or modification, right down to the kitchen sink. And Cara Rest is an approved insurance repairer. Visit or call our helpful team at Cara Rest Supplies and Repairs, Grand Junction Road, Kilburn.
Acorn stair lifts are the most cost-effective way to retain your independence. And Acorn's fast-track installation means minimal disruption and no need for custom rails. Call for a free on-site consultation or visit acornstairlifts.com.au.
Beat the cold at Harvey Norman with the best in heating and air treatment solutions. Stay warm this winter with our range of ceramic, radiant and fan heaters, convection, column and panel heaters, the latest in gas and electric flame effect models, heated throws and electric blankets, plus a huge range of reverse cycle air conditioners. Treat the air quality in your home with everything from air purifiers to humidifiers. Harvey Norman has all the big brands at great prices. Visit us in store or online. Harvey Norman, your heating and air treatment specialist.
Go! Amongst conflict and epidemics, we are there. Our medical teams are drawing on years of experience to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, but not without you. Help us protect the most vulnerable in our projects. Donate now.
You can keep warm on a budget.
Patio heater, only $169. 20 kilo firewood, just $15.98.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stock item, we'll beat it by 10%. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
Our top-notch team of stain experts are testing the toughest stains day and night to develop our best stain removal. New Dynamo Professional Oxy Plus. It removes tough stains for a superior clean. New Dynamo Professional Oxy Plus.
Classic cottage pie, spicy lamb stew, gooey pear crumble. On new, better homes. Tonight on 7/2.
Hello again, and Matthew Nicks has confirmed Taylor Walker will tackle the Lions on Sunday at the Gabba. The former skipper has been one of a number of Crows lacking touch and form.
We're not hiding from the fact their form's not good enough. He's a leader, a really important leader for us, so he's going to be under scrutiny, and we understand that.
Adelaide will go in with a new look midfield and forward line. Shane McAdam will make his AFL debut, and we'll have more from Nicks and the final teams tonight at 6. At Port Adelaide, Ken Hinkley says his squad is on the verge of losing its label as an unreliable team. They've made one force change for tomorrow's Eagles clash at Metricon Stadium, and that's where we find Seven's Theo Doropoulos.
Well, it was this time last year after a loss to the Bulldogs. Ken Hinkley said his team just couldn't be trusted. What a difference 12 months can make. The high-flying power has embraced a new game plan. Now it's starting to pay handsome dividends.
You look like a team that knows what they're doing a little bit more, and every day you train together, play together, you certainly learn a little bit more, and I think that's the advantage of what some of the top sides have been. You know, over the last few years they've been together for a good period of time and they know how to play together, and we're coming up against one of them tomorrow who are going to play their style of football, I'm sure, and we're going to have to be at our absolute best.
Hinckley's only made one change for this week's clash, with Kane Farrell replacing injured youngster Xavier Dersma.
He's earned the opportunity. He's had to wait and be a bit patient, and unfortunately for Xavier, it's injury comes and Faz gets a chance.
A mouth-watering matchup between Scott Lycett and Nick Natanui looms. Despite the Eagles' recent worries, Ken Hinckley's still wary of the high flyers.
We know how good the West Coast ruckman can be, but we're equally as confident that Scott's in great form, and we know what Westy's been bringing to us in the last couple of games, particularly he's been able to hit the scoreboard as well.
So another crucial weekend looms for both the Crows and Power up here on the Gold Coast. We'll have the latest coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
Good on you, Theo. Well, an emotional Alistair Clarkson has paid tribute to the legendary John Kennedy Sr., who passed away yesterday. Kennedy Sr. coached Hawthorn to their three first premierships, and Clarkson described him as the godfather of the Hawks.
Sorts of things never leave you when you have people who have had a positive impact on the way that you live your life, and Kanga was one of those for me, but there's a lot of people who are very, very grateful for having some sort of influence of John Kennedy Sr.
Last night, the Dogs took care of Sydney by 28 points, but will be sweating on an ankle injury to Aaron Norton and a shoulder injury to Sam Lloyd. Well, as you saw earlier, Australia will host a FIFA World Cup for the very first time when the Women's World Cup touches down in Australia and New Zealand in 2023. And SA's own Jenna McCormick is set to play a starring role after stepping away from the Crows to focus on her Matilda's career last year.
It was the moment all of Australian football had been waiting for. And for Matilda's star Jenna McCormick, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, it's pretty special and something that obviously everyone is really rapt about. Personally, for the opportunity to potentially represent your country and play in front of your family and friends is extremely special.
A home World Cup only further proved her decision to leave the Crows at the end of 2019 was the right call.
My decision to step away from AFL was purely to be wearing this polo right now, and I'm really just grateful that I'm able to be doing what I'm doing.
As 7 News reported earlier this week, she's now got her eyes on a European move.
Got an opportunity that hopefully be able to announce over the coming weeks, but I'm really excited for my short-term future.
And while Hindmarsh might be an outsider to host a Matilda's match, Jenna is praying for an SA tie.
Of course, South Australia is my home state, and I would love to be able to play here again. Last November against Chile was a special moment for me, and I would love the opportunity to be able to play here again. Such a great stadium and one of the best for football.
The decision is also music to the ears of Adelaide's W League side, as our young stars look to stake their claim for selection.
I couldn't believe it. It was like Christmas Eve the night before, and best Christmas present ever in the morning. That's my goal. It's an aspiration of mine, and the thought of playing on home soil is just a dream.
The announcement comes at the perfect time for South Australian football, with the local women's comp and junior football both set to restart this weekend after their COVID hiatus. Lucas Ronaldo, 7 News.
Still on soccer, and wild celebrations have erupted around the world for Liverpool fans after they broke a 30-year title drought and claimed their first ever Premier League championship. Liverpool was crowned champions after Chelsea beat Manchester City 2-1 early this morning.
Well, unfortunately, I have no words. It's unbelievable. It's much more than I ever thought what would be possible.
Man City needed to beat Chelsea to stop Liverpool from claiming the title. And in a shock defection, Jeff Horn's key lieutenant has switched to bitter enemy Tim Zhu's camp after their blockbuster bout. Dundee Kim, the martial arts guru who worked with Horn for 6 years, is now Zhu's informant.
How Jeff's move around, so I just show him. Yeah, so it's not hard feeling with Jeff. I finished the chapter with him in January.
Whatever that happened, that's their past.
Horn and Zhu will clash in the first week of September, with the winner set for a world title tilt. That is our look at sport this afternoon. Can tell you as well, Rosanna, just a couple of minutes ago, huge big name drop to the Adelaide Crows. Matt Crouch.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Out of their midfield. I don't think any of us saw that coming.
No.
So we'll dissect that tonight at 7 News at 6 o'clock.
All right, very important. Thank you so much, Hazy. Stay with us. Still to come on 7 News. A giant backyard intruder has residents on edge in the US. The new species of wombat that would have been 5 times bigger than its modern cousins. And Amelia joins us next with some brighter news on the weather front.
Sworn
Two enemies will meet, but behind their smiles,
cheers, guys.
They're plotting to take her down for good.
This is their life. There's something going on. It's time to get rid of her.
She's getting ready for the ultimate double cross.
It's like the Last Supper.
But whose Last Supper will it be?
Angela's exactly where we want them to be. Everyone in this room's a threat. Bon appetit.
Can she survive TV's biggest week?
If you're going to shoot your shot, make sure you hit. Yeah, it's game on. Ooh la la.
Big Brother's Last Supper, Sunday at 7 on 7.
Not till after dinner. Oh, really? Right, yeah. All right, just fine.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
This is my idea of washing, sunshine and fresh air, as well as energy-efficient drying on an Austral clothesline.
Austral, the trusted first choice in clotheslines. They're 100% Australian made and owned. Visit Austral's website for the full range and nearest stockist.
Lux Bathroom's end of financial year sale is on now. All acrylic baths, just $9.99. 30% off all vanities, 30% off all tapware. In fact, 30% off everything store-wide. Lux Bathroom's end of financial year sale on now.
Australia, there's no country like it. That's why all Mobil Synergy fuels were formulated to protect your engine from the first fill. Like a shield against rust corrosion and harmful deposits. Mobil Synergy fuels. Engine protection sorted.
How long is this price for?
It's a weekly special. Like KR Castlemaine Shortcut Bacon. Just $8.90 a kilo.
I'm going to need a trolley.
It's tax time madness at JB with prices smashed. Like a staggering $400 off the Samsung Note 10 Plus. The Samsung Galaxy S20 crunched to $1149. And this is nuts. $300 on the Samsung Galaxy Active 2 watch. Extended opening hours until June 30. JB, you've done it again.
With more than 20% protein for muscle development, Nutri-Grain is one of the highest protein cereals.
Craving adventure? Portuguese-style chicken, flame grilled, 100% flavor, 100% Australian chicken, made fresh every day. Adventure awaits.
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
Wow.
It'll come down
4 seconds.
to 4 seconds.
Wow.
There's only one word for this ending.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
New The Chase, weekdays at 5 on 7.
This weather report proudly brought to you by Australian Red Cross.
Good afternoon, Tim Adwell here with your latest traffic update. It's slow going through Darlington around the Southern Expressway for roadworks. It's keeping it very busy there. A burst water main is causing some major issues in Woodville at the intersection of Findon and Patricia Streets. It's affecting northbound travellers through here and expected to last right through peak hour, so avoid if you can. Henley Beach Road feeling the pinch through Lockleys due to works. In Australia, Red Cross supports more than 1,000 people a year in the search for missing loved ones. See how you can help at redcross.org.au. That's the latest Adelaide traffic. Back to you, Rosanna.
Thank you, Tim. An unusual backyard intruder has prompted frantic calls to police in the US state of Carolina. The large black bear drew a crowd of intrigued neighbours as well as reporters, even the officers who cordoned off the surrounding area. But concerns the 2.5 metre tall beast would turn on them were quickly eased when the bear dozed off. Police say if it's left alone, it will eventually leave. A new species of giant wombat, which lived in Australia 25 million years ago, has been discovered by New York researchers. The huge animal had shovel-shaped hands, weighed around 150 kilos and was 5 times the size of wombats we see today. Fossils of its skull and a partial skeleton dug up in Lake Eyre in South Australia in the 1970s led to the discovery. And now let's get a check of the weather. Amelia, it sounds like we've got a cracking weekend ahead.
Rosanna, we're expecting skies to clear for a bit of sunshine this weekend, and that's particularly exciting news for the 5,000 footy fans, which are expected here at Adelaide Oval for the Sandful doubleheader tomorrow and again on Sunday. It's the first time Adelaide Oval's hosted that many people since mid-March when restrictions came into play. Right now, well, cloud is starting to break up a bit over the city at the moment after what was a pretty grey start to the day. Our low was 8.4 degrees early this morning, and we hit a top of 15.9 degrees this afternoon. Currently, it's still around the 15-degree mark in the city. Down the east coast, well, it's looking cool but dry, just 9 degrees at the moment in Canberra. And in the west, showers are hitting Perth right about now as a cold front moves through. It'll reach our far west Monday night, weakening as it pushes across the west of the state on Tuesday. This weekend, we'll stay under the influence of a high-pressure system that's sitting over Victoria. So tomorrow, are mostly fine days in store statewide, up to 19 degrees in Coober Pedy and Maree. But of course, those clear skies will lead to colder mornings with frost forecast inland. Down to -2 degrees overnight in Yunta, 0 in Roxby Downs and in Jamestown and Clare. Other than frost, a bit of fog's tipped about central and eastern districts as well. Just 14 degrees, the top for Mount Gambier, 16 for Renmark, Kingscote, Nuriutpa and Kadina, 17 in Victor Harbour and Port Pirie, 19 in Port Augusta and Whyalla and 18 in Port Lincoln. And there is particular concern for the icy conditions ahead in parts of the mid-north and Riverland in the morning as well. In the city, down to 7 degrees overnight, then a mostly sunny days ahead, 17 degrees the forecast top. It's looking much the same on Sunday, so perfect weather to come check out some Sandful footy. Fans are being told you can't just rock up, of course, to adhere to SA Health guidelines. The Sandful is asking people to book their tickets online, but regardless, Rosanna, it is very exciting. Local footy is back. She's looking like a beauty right now.
She sure is, and very exciting indeed. It's nice to get back to normal. Thank you, Amelia, and that's all from the afternoon news team. Jane will have our next bulletin at 6 o'clock. Bye for now.
It says here, I saw her at the corner of my eye, a white female yelling, "Help, help, someone's trying to kill me." That's not what happened.
Peter Falconio was shot by a gunman who attempted to abduct his girlfriend Joanne Lees.
They found the killer.
He was the murderer.
Or did they? The case you think is closed.
34 inconsistencies.
A murder you thought was solved.
There's no projectile, there's no casing, no blood splatter. If somebody gets shot in the head, it makes a big mess, right?
It's what you don't know that will shock the world.
No one doubts me. Can you help me out? Did I run to that side?
Okay, report. I couldn't believe this had never seen the light of day.
We reopen the case.
Without a body and without a motive, you've lost two essential parts to a murder.
Did they get the right man? We are going to be very unpopular.
You've got a murderer loose, haven't you?
The event that will make world headlines.
There is so much more to this story than people will ever imagine.
Murder in the Outback. This July on 7.
These four strangers must work as a team to win thousands of dollars. But stand